So first of all, thank you very much all for joining us today for the demo day. And today I want to share with you a little bit about the process that we've done in order to select the winning startup that we decided to work with. So first of all, I want to remind what was the purpose of the what was the challenge proposed by Netafim, and it was related, of course, to regenerative ag. We wanted to help our farmers to be much more sustainable in the way that they are farming, and there are several ways to do so. So we are looking for carbon emission and sequestration in the soil, optimizing water and nutrients, looking on the soil, on biology, on soil health, and looking on cover crops and all the ways that we are actually enhancing the soil fertility and health. So we got from Growing AL a list of companies, and basically we wanted to work with all of them, but reality, and we had to choose a few of them. So we looked on all of the companies, and we started with the startup that are aligned with our challenge. Of course, many other companies are very interesting for other purposes, but we looked on our challenge, and then we made a short list to startups that have a technology that is ready to go, that we can tomorrow go to the field and simply implement it. And then out of that, we had to cut another slice, and then we looked on unique technology that actually answers some farmers' pains in the field in the terms of regenerative ag. So this is the main process that we've done in order to reduce and make the short list of selected companies. And after that, I'm very happy that we chose all those three amazing companies, pest technologies that are focusing on soil health. They have an amazing technology that it's the first time that I see something like that actually measure the soil health with in a single device. I would say it like that. They measure the soil health, soil organic matter, many other chemical and physical characteristics of the soil and soil biology. So and it's all run in the same box. So it's an amazing technology. Then we have MAPANA that actually goes to the nutrient side of things, the measuring nutrients optimization, and eventually leads to greenhouse gas emissions because of the adjustments of the nutrients. And then we have the SoilWise that is doing salinity and nutrient monitoring in the soil and preventing the overall leaching of nitrogen and other nutrients into the soil, and by that making optimization of the nutrients. So we chose those three companies, very interesting technologies that they have, and we started the process of the POC with several meetings along the past 2-3 months. So we started the first introduction to understand what is the technology, what they can bring to the table, and then we talked about possible use cases, how we can implement it, how it will fit the farmer, what's the pain that it answers, and then we started later on building the POC, how we will apply it, how we will check it in the field. And eventually they submitted a POC. We reviewed it. They were all magnificent, but eventually, lastly, we had to choose one winner, And here we are in the demo day after we selected our winning startup. And as you might know, the POC goes to MAPANA, and they will, in a second, will explain exactly what they do and what we are going to do with them. And it was great working with them. They have a lot of experience and they know what they are talking about, and their technology is the top notch of the what we have today in the measuring nutrients in the field. And lastly, credits are deserved. So first of all, I want to thank all the team of Growing IL, to Yonit, Chen, and Dana for the magnificent process. And this project is amazing. Without you, we couldn't meet all those companies, and it will take us much more time. And the process that you've done along with us was very well handled. And thank you very much. And of course to Eric and Migal and Ori from Migal. Thank you also. Of course, thank you for my colleagues from Netafim, to Max, Shachar, and Ziv, that was doing this journey along with me. And lastly, thank you for all the three companies that we worked with, to Andre and Jim from Test Technologies, to Stephan that will speak in a second, and to Shlomi from SoilWiz. It was amazing working with them, and I'm not sure, I'm positive, and I know that we will work with those companies in the future, because it's amazing. It's a great technology that needs to be used somewhere in the future. So again, thank you all for joining us, and I think Stephan is next.
Perfect. Thank you, Itamar. I'm just going to share my screen. Perfect. I hope everybody can see my screen. That would always be a bonus when that happens. Great. People are nodding. Wonderful. First and foremost, I think it's very good to start where Itamar ended, which is thanking people. So thank you very much to the Netafim team. I think the conversations were very good and very robust and just a lot of fun, and the process was very enjoyable throughout. Growing IL, thank you for running such a good process, and Miguel also for a lot of your thought leadership. This has been an absolute delight to be a part of, so thank you very much. And also to all the other companies that took part in this. It was cool to see what you were building, and all the other presenters too. So the image on the left here was actually created about 200 years ago by a German researcher. And for those who are agronomists, they're familiar with it. I'm sure they got tormented with it at university, which is always a fun thing. But essentially, it says that the yield and quality that you can get is a function of what you have least of. Or if we say it in plain terms, it doesn't matter how much nitrogen you put in your plant if what it really needs is boron, right? And on the right, we've got a nice table that shows the 12 elements that plants need and what they do. And they do very different things, right? So my favorite one, because I drink way too much coffee, is boron. And boron is really cool because boron creates flowers. It makes beautiful things, right? And to get a really good cup of coffee, you need to get coffee beans, which come from coffee cherries, which come from coffee flowers. And coffee flowers comes from boron. So unless you get the right amount when it's in the flowering stage, you just don't get a lot of beans. And then you get crazy coffee prices like we've had for the last year. And this is kind of one of the interesting things that happens with agriculture, right? Is that farmers are a bit unsure of what to do when they don't know. If you don't know what to do, you carpet bomb your fields with all the fertilizer you can just to be sure that you don't have too little. And there's kind of two ways to know how healthy plants are. You can measure it in the soil, or you can measure the leaves. So the soil, what you'll do is you'll do it about once a year, and you'll do it to get a sense of what's there. right? It's kind of seeing what's the reserves that are available for my plants. Leaves, you measure to see what your plant is actually absorbing, right? So you'll understand how the plants are doing, what if they need a little bit more boron in the case of coffee, for example, if they need a little bit more phosphorus, like potatoes sometimes do when they're bulking up and getting big and strong. And so you can always adjust. And this is kind of where MAPANA is trying to come in and solve a problem, which is to help understand exactly how much plants need to be happy and healthy and become beautiful things that we can all enjoy. So when it came to the challenge, there were some areas that we can definitely work on and do cool stuff on. So, and I think this is a shared vision with Netafim, but optimizing the efficiency of water and fertilizer use, making sure plants get just enough water and just enough fertilizer to make sure that you're not using too much. About 10 years ago, another study done on coffee showed that if you apply the right amount of fertilizer, the right kind, you can reduce total fertilizer use by 20%, reduce your CO2 emissions by 50%, and reduce your water use by 40%, right? You can use us with no-till or minimum till practices. You don't need to plug our solution into the soil. You can do all kinds of fun stuff. One of the really, really cool things we discovered while we were on this journey was that agriculture emits more greenhouse gases than shipping and aviation combined. It's a phenomenal amount. It's fantastic how big it is. And when you look at fertilizer in particular, 30% of the emissions happen when it's being manufactured in a factory, but 70% gets emitted when it's being applied to the field. So if you can understand exactly how much is being applied, then you can also measure this quite well in both the plants and the soil and what's being released. And that's part of what we look at doing. So I'm a fan of very, very basic and skinny slides, and I don't put a lot of content. I apologize for that, but if anybody is more curious, I'm happy to have a chat. In terms of the pilot, it'll be in Israel and it'll be as ASAP. And I think Itamar and I have a good chat tomorrow to discuss how quickly ASAP can be. That's it from my side. Any questions? Happy to answer anything. If not, I would hand it back to the team at Growing IL.